Hello. This is Jack here at Unicorn Gaming, and we are bringing to you another update to the Autochess game mode in Pokemon Unite China version. This one is another big one. They're adding 5 cost units to the game. We'll talk more about a specific Pokemon later, but previously the highest cost units that you could get was 4 costs, and now they've added 2 new 5 cost units, and they've added 2 new held items for the game. Those are I think not that big of a change, but this game mode is continuing to get love from the developers. Every 2 weeks when they roll out updates, this game mode has been getting updates right along there. I think this is the second half of the second season in Pokemon Unite China. The changes are getting rolled out at a different time. So it's 26th of March, 5 a.m., which is probably going to be around the time this video is uploaded. Let's get to it. So there's 2 new units that are getting added. That's Mewtwo and Miraidon. I'll get into the individual specs of the Pokemon in a bit. But both of these are 5 cost units. They're kind of legendary Pokemon, so to speak. Even though Zapdos has already been in the game and it's only a 3 cost unit, and it's also considered a legendary, right? Or is it only a mythical? I can't remember. But Miraidon and Mewtwo are definitely legendaries. They used to, if you played a MOBA, it used to be in the now defunct EX category, right? So now they've brought those over onto the Autobattler game mode as well. I'm feeling very hopeful about the game mode because I think with the global version they've added 2 new items, the 2 rings that's already been in the Chinese version, and they've ported those over into the global version. I think they're still tweaking this game mode. It still says it's in the beta test phase right now, so we don't know when it'll get ported over to the global version, but fingers crossed, hopefully sooner than later. Let's get back to it. The 2 new units that are getting added, we'll get first to Mewtwo. So Mewtwo 5 cost, it's going to be a psychic and an all-rounder, and then it's going to be a primarily physical attacker. We'll get to that when we get to the Unite move. I don't know how 5 cost units are gonna work in the game, especially with the second moves of both the units. They're quite strong. It's very, very potent. But even with the 4 cost units, usually you get to 2-star them at the very end, like the very last few rounds of the game, right? So with the 5 cost units, I think you'll need a stroke of luck to get them 2-starred or even 3-starred. With Mewtwo, 2 moves. The first move is Future Sight. So Future Sight pulls the furthest enemy unit next to you, and it causes the enemy unit damage after a period of time. It doesn't say how long, it just says a period of time. But being able to pull the furthest enemy unit next to you means like their backline damage dealer that's ripping through your front line will now suddenly be vulnerable. You're going to pull it next to you, it's probably going to be frontlining for their team, and the rest of your team will be able to jump onto that unit, right? And then the second move, this is the move that you get when you 2-star a unit, right? So this one is a doozy, man. So the second move is Psy Strike. So it says it sends a psychic wave to a designated enemy. This is the first time I've seen this particular wording, so I don't know. Like, I don't think you can choose the target, but this is the first time I've seen this kind of wording. We'll know in a little bit when the Pokemon's rolled out, but it says like it's a designated enemy instead of like usually it says like the enemy, or it says like the closest enemy or your current target or things like that. But this one is specifically says designated. So I don't know if there's any difference to the mechanics. We'll find out in a bit. But you'll send a wave to it, causing it damage, and during that period, it grants damage reduction to you. I think the way it will work is like a little bit like Mime's power swap, where there's something connecting you for a period of time. That's the way it's going to work. So during that period, you get less damage to you. And after that period finishes, it will cause damage to the target and its surrounding units, and it knocks them away. So like, you're causing damage to the unit, you don't get damaged as much. When it ends, an extra burst of damage and everybody gets knocked back. So you're kind of like, your enemy's board state is going to be really, really messed up by the end of this move, right? And then the last bit is like, it's what going to make this move like really overpowered. And I'm kind of reserving judgment on this. I try not to throw that word around, but this is going to be a big one, because all the other buffs or debuffs, like there's a time limit, right? For Psy Strike, you will get a debuff on that target until the end of the round. So once you hit an enemy with Psy Strike, their damage going to be lowered until the end of that round. That's a lot. Like if you manage to hit Psy Strike on your enemy's main damage dealer, they're done. And the another thing, like, it's not ending. It's a very long list of things on Psy Strike. If it says like if when after KOing the target, you get to use the move again. So if you, for instance, target the enemy's Tyranitar, you manage to decrease its damage output, and then you KO it, and then you can pick a new target, and then you do the same thing over again. So the way it's being worded, it doesn't seem like there's only one target that you can use. So Psy Strike is on a timer, right? Like normal moves. And then if you KO a target, the timer just resets. So it means that you could technically hit a lot of different things with this, and just decreasing the damage output of your enemy's team altogether. And then you get to its Unite move. Okay, the Unite move doesn't do as much, I'm guessing. It depends on how much these increases are. It doesn't actually say it. But the Unite move for Mewtwo, it will basically Mega Evolve your Mewtwo into Mega Mewtwo X. And then your attack speed gets an increase, your defense and special defense gets an increase, and your attack gets an increase. So you just become like this Super Saiyan Mewtwo, ripping through the enemy team. And then basically they call it the move Teleport. So I think the added bonus is that you get to randomly teleport to another enemy unit, next to another enemy unit, and you start hitting it. Depends on how much that attack speed and attack increase and the defense increases are. It could be really, really, really OP, because you get straight up buff to everything that's useful to you, and then you're zipping around the board, just ripping through your enemy. If you have Psy Strike, then your damage is further decreased. I don't know what to think of this. I'm kind of excited that they're doing so many changes to the game. At the same time, like, It's gonna be like, I think the game already has a little bit of scaling issues because the 1 cost units, the 2 cost units don't really hold up. Like, unless you get to 3 stardom, otherwise the 1 cost and the 2 costs that just don't stack up against the 3 costs and the 4 costs towards the later stages of the game. And now you throw in a 5 cost with all these crazy moves. I don't know how they're going to keep up. So it means that I think the usage rate for the 1 costs are going to drop significantly. And then also some certain synergies that don't have as many options. Like, you have to have a 1 cost unit for your fighting synergies, right? I don't know how that's going to work. But that's it for now. I'm going to get to gather my thoughts at the end of the video again. But let's get to the second unit. So the second unit that's added is the Miraidon. Again, a 5 cost unit. And then this one has 3 synergies. So it's electric, it's a dragon, and it's a burst attacker. So burst attackers are like your Delphox, Venusaur, Inteleon, Gengar. Those are all your burst attackers. So being electric and burst gives you a little bit more options. And if I'm assuming that they're still not changing the electric synergy because they didn't mention anything, but now with a 4th unit added, it gives you a lot more flexibility, because before I don't think the electric synergy is any good. I only use it when I actually pair it with something else. So usually I pair Pikachu with Zapdos and then the skill attackers. So it's just a little bit of added spice there with that extra damage, right? So now you have an extra option. You get the burst attackers that you might be able to pair with your speed attackers, and then figure it out from there, right? So the 2 moves on Miraidon, one is Thunder. Thunder, right now, based on the description, feels a little bit underwhelming, but let's wait until we get to the rest of them, the rest of the moves. So Thunder, it says it summons a Thundercloud. I'm assuming that Thundercloud is on your Miraidon first, and then it slowly moves to the closest enemy unit. And after a while, Thunder will strike when it reaches there, causing special damage and lowering the enemy's special defense. Let's see like how much damage it actually deals, right? It doesn't say. Like, usually all the moves have are based on a certain percentage of your special attack. That percentage will basically determine whether or not Thunder is worth it, because right now, based on the description, the fact that it's the cloud that's slowly moving, it specifically says slowly moving, it means that it might take a while before the damage gets there. And if it's not big enough, then I don't know what it's for. So the second move looks a little bit more promising. It's Charge Beam. So a rectangular area in front of your Miraidon, causing continuous damage to enemy units in that area. It will be a little bit difficult to use because I'm assuming the rectangular is kind of a long one instead of a wide one, like it is in the MOBA. So in the Autobattler, like your enemy units tend to be more spread out, right? They're usually in a wide, they're going side to side more than front to back. So with the Charge Beam, you might be able to hit the back line a little bit easier, but if the enemy units just don't happen to be there, you're just hitting one unit and a bunch of empty space. So it's not that hard to work around. So let's see. Again, it's like how much the damage I find it kind of interesting that for both these Pokemon, they haven't specified how much percentage. I'm guessing that they still want to tweak it as the days go by, maybe, or we'll see when they come out. So this is an interesting one. So I've been calling all the disc moves Unite moves, because I thought that's what they were supposed to be, but apparently now I am proven wrong, because the literal translation is special move, but special move and then special attack, and then it starts getting a little bit confusing. So I've changed it to Unite move in all my translations. But now, for the first time, the word Unite move is actually in the text. So the disc move for Miraidon is actually called a Unite move. I don't know why they're naming it as that, but that's that. So I will figure out a way to make things clearer in future translations, but for now I'm just gonna stick with Unite move. So Miraidon's Unite move is called Unite move. And the Unite move continuously brings down 5 meteorites, causing special damage to the enemy and knocks them away. Again, it'll depend on how much each of these meteorites do. Right now, from the text, it's not clear whether or not you're raining down 5 on the same enemy or you're raining down 5 on random enemies. That could end up being the difference maker, right? If it's 5 all on the same enemy and you're dealing 100% damage or something crazy like that, then basically that means that you're KOing an enemy with each Unite. And then yeah, it doesn't say the cast conditions of both these Unites as well, so I don't know, it's kind of surprisingly little information available. I'll try to do a little recap at the end of what I think of all of this, but for now, those are the 2 new Pokemon that's being added. And then let's move on to the items. These are fairly straightforward. There's 2 new items that are being introduced. The first one is Metronome. So every time an ally unit uses normal moves, so their move 1s or move 2s, it will increase the holder's move damage. So based on the wording, I'm assuming that all of these are the normal moves. So the move 1s and the move 2s, so not the disc moves or the special moves or the Unite moves, right? So if you have something that casts a little bit slower, and then you have other units that are casting more, then you can put this on that big attacker, and then the move will do more damage over time. It doesn't say how many times it will stack, or if it's stacking, or how much it'll stack, or over what period of time. I'm assuming that they'll make it more clear, and then we'll see if this item's any good. So this second one, this is a weird one for me. Like, I've tried to look up everything I can, but I've never seen a rage mask anywhere near in Pokemon's wording, right? So I've tried to search both the Chinese wording and the English wording. I haven't been able to see it. Let's see when we have the actual item if this translation is correct. But it's basically says it's the Rage Mask, and then when your ally units are KO'd, the holder's damage increases and the attack speed increases. So if you put it on something that's your backliner, that's the last to get hit, and all your front line is dead, has been knocked out, and then your backliner will suddenly have a lot more attack and a lot more attack speed. Or if you put it on your tank, that's very difficult to knock out, and then your tank in the end will be able to deal some damage, right? So very situational items, both of these. We'll see the actual balance of it when it comes out. So that's the patch for 26 March. By the time this video finishes uploading, I think the changes will be live already. So very looking forward to it. 2 legendaries coming to the Autobattler mode. Like I've previously mentioned, like I'm slightly concerned about balancing, especially since details are so scarce right now. They haven't mentioned a lot of the percentages cast conditions for the special moves, the actual percentage damages to the move ones and move twos and the unite moves as well. It's very vague wording at the moment, so hopefully they will either clarify it or they're actually using the opportunity to tweak it a little bit the first few days it comes out, right? It's not unheard of that they've done something like this. It'll get emergency buffs or nerfs in a day or two when they've seen how it actually stacks up to the rest. But right now, like the one cost and any of the synergies that requires you to have like the one cost in suddenly doesn't feel as necessary. I think that's the word. Like, yeah, right now, a one cost Pikachu, even if you 3-star it before, it was already feeling quite underwhelming. And now with Miraidon out, I really don't see myself using Pikachu in the later stages of the game, or even bothering to 3-star it. Like once I get a better unit, even if it's a 2-star, I'm just gonna drop it. Like same goes with like Machop and the fighting synergy. Like they just tried to buff it the last round, right? And now it just I was really enjoying using the fighting synergies too, like over the last 2 weeks. But now like Machop and Machamp is just not gonna hold up in the later stages of the game. So I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I've been increasingly struggling to fit Crustle in my teams, even though Tyranitar is one of my favorite Pokemons to use. But like it's the only thing that will give my Tyranitar the stone synergy and give the team the defense buffs, like the special defense buffs. But now, like, is it still worth it when you have Mega Mewtwo and Miraidon just raining down damage? Like, what's the point of increasing your defense, right? So let's see. At the very least, they're showing a lot of love to this game mode. It still says it's in beta test, even though it's been out for about, I think, 2 months now. But they're still updating every 2 weeks. I really hope it gets like more love and it gets rolled out to the global version soon. And then I can stop doing these translations. But in the meantime, if you have any questions about the translations, feel free to drop me a comment. I'll try to explain, clarify them as best as I can. As usual, I'll put a link in the description for the slides if you want to go and read them in more detail. So looking forward to these new changes, looking forward to playing Mewtwo and Miraidon in the Autobattler mode. This is Jack, Unicorn Gaming, and I will see you next time.